You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again. Today, we have two special guests. We're going to talk to Joe Weisenthal and also Miss Tracy Alloway. And they are the hosts of this amazing new podcast, Bloomberg Financial Official Podcast, Odd Lots. They analyze the weird patterns, the complex issues, new market crazes, and the hot topic right now, Russia and Ukraine, and how that conflict is affecting the markets daily. First and foremost, I want to say welcome to the show, Joe and Tracy. How y'all doing today?
Good. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, we're great. Thanks for having us on.
So yesterday you had an interview on top of the cyber war. Tell us a little bit about that with Matthew Sweetray.
Sure. So Matt and I actually met in Dubai, where he's based several years ago, and he's this famous French hacker, really well known within the cyber industry, the cyber world. And so we thought we'd bring him on and get his views on what a cyber conflict with Russia might actually look like. And the reason we thought it was a good idea is because you hear about this term cyber risk all the time, this idea of cyber attacks, but it's sort of this nebulous concept that I think when people hear cyber attack, they don't necessarily know what that means. And a lot of people have this image of, like a face flashes up on your computer screen and starts laughing and says, "You've been hacked, ha ha ha." But it really doesn't happen that way. And in fact, often after you've been hacked, you don't realize it for many months, even years. And the people who are hacking you are predominantly doing it to gather intelligence. So for instance, Matt was saying right before Russia invaded Ukraine, there was actually, we know now, some evidence of hacking taking place. So that sort of set the scene for the actual military invasion.
And also, Joe, you are executive editor of the news for Bloomberg Digital. Tell us some of the topics that y'all dive deep into.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, look, the other aspect of this that's highly relevant to us is everything relating to commodities. And of course, there's the direct impact, which is oil, and the sanctions, which aren't on Russian energy per se, but there is a lot of disruption going on in the oil trade. But other ones too. I mean, of course, Ukraine is a major purveyor of wheat. Belarus is a major source of fertilizer. And so obviously, trying to figure out the ramifications of all this, understanding how this impacts, all these markets were already very tight. Of course, inflation in several commodities was already high. We know what was going on with gas prices even prior to the invasion. We know what was going on with food prices even prior to the invasion. So this is coming in the context of already very tight markets in which have seen rising commodity prices. And so understanding the degree to which the current conflict is going to exacerbate all of these things only is highly relevant to our listeners and readers.
And also, Tracy, what can listeners expect for future episodes and some of the topics that you guys will plan to discover?
We have a really good lineup coming up. It is mostly delving even further into the consequences of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So, for instance, Joe mentioned commodities. This is top of mind, not just for markets, but for consumers who actually have to spend money on gas and buy bread and things like that. So next week, we're having a guy called Pierre Onderond on. He is one of the most famous commodities traders out there in the world. He's made billions of dollars in recent years because the market has been so volatile, and he's actually been very, very prescient with some of his oil calls. And, he sees the price of oil going up even higher. So that's something that we're going to delve into.
Once again, we're talking to Joe Weisenthal and Tracy Alloway. They are the hosts of the Bloomberg Financial Official Podcast, Odd Lots. And I just want to say thank you for taking time out of y'all's super busy schedule today. And before we let you go, we like to say to the audience.
One of the things that we really strive for on the podcast is to be sophisticated enough for financial listeners, but also very accessible and plain English enough for people who are more general and who aren't so dived into it. So if you people looking for like a sophisticated discussion of oil, of grain, of how financial markets It's sophisticated, but it's very accessible to anyone with an interest. And so we invite people to check it out.
Well, if you listen to this right now, go check out the Bloomberg official financial podcast, Odd Lots. New episode is on Monday and Thursdays. I want to say thank you so much again to Joe and Miss Tracy. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks so much.
I Am Refocused Radio is brought to you by Foo 4 Star and Holy Crab. Foo 4 Star is a family-owned Asian restaurant in San Antonio, Texas. We have been a local favorite for Asian cuisine for over 10 years. With nothing but full smiles and fast service, you'll be leaving satisfied. Come on in for some authentic Vietnamese food. Holy Crab is one-of-a-kind Cajun Creole-style seafood restaurant located in Universal City, Texas. We offer traditional seafood items as well as chicken and steak. We also offer seafood boils. Come give us a try. You won't be disappointed. You can find these two eateries in Universal City, Texas at 2921 Pat Booker Road.